prior to that, I think it was October of 2020, when Peacock started their MSNBC channel. That at that time they called it The Choice. I don't know what they're calling it now.
Sam Cedar Choice.
And the Sam Cedar Choice, yes. And the Majority Report was licensed to be rerun on that network. And part of the reason why I agreed to do it was, A, there was no more work in it, except the only thing we had to do, they had no editorial control. The only thing that we had to do was have a break at like somewhere between 20 and 35 minutes and one at 55 minutes, I think it was. So that was the only requirement. There was no other editorial. It was literally just timing. And I'm like, oh, I like the work that Mehdi Hasan did on Al Jazeera. And it'll be interesting. Like, I just assume, like, oh, if they're going to have our show on, which looks like this, doesn't look like anything like, then his show is probably going to be like an interesting sort of like, and the content was good, but they made it look just like any other show, except for less money on MSNBC. And, but he had a show on, and there was one other show, and I can't remember her name, that she was a radio host too. But so it was, our three shows were debuted. Those two were produced by MSNBC, and ours, of course, wasn't. We ended
Maxwell?
Zerlina Maxwell.
Zerlina Maxwell.
And but part of the reason why I wanted to do it was, hey, they were going to just, again, license the show, and we're just going to make more money for a show that we're doing once anyways. But the other was, like, maybe this will be good because he's good. And his show was, one of the better shows, I think, that was in that whole milieu of MSNBC.
He had numerous great adversarial interviews.
Yes, which is hard to do. Like, once people realize you're going to have an adversarial interview with them. But here he is signing off. The Mehdi Hasan show was on their Peacock streaming network. And then for about 2 years, he had a Sunday night show, which I think ended at the end of last year. But here was his sign off. Sunday night. Yeah.
It's been an absolute blast doing this live show on MSNBC for the past 3 years with an amazing team of producers behind me and with all of you watching at home. It's been a privilege, it's been a pleasure. But as we begin 2024 with an election coming, a war still ongoing, and too many Trump trials, honestly, to even keep track of, and with this show going away, I've decided that it's time for me to look for a new challenge. Tonight is not just my final episode of the Mehdi Hasan Show. It's my last day with MSNBC. Yes, I've decided to leave. To be clear, I am so proud, so proud of what we've achieved on this show, on this network. And I can't thank you all enough for tuning in and for your support and for your feedback. But as I say, new year, new plans. You can continue to follow me online at Mehdi R. Hasan on Instagram, on Threads, and of course Twitter or X, where I'll give you updates on what's coming next for me. For now, from me, for one last time on this network, good night.
There you go. It's too bad.
Many people, including members of Congress, have raised the alarm as to the timing of the cancellation of Mehdi Hasan's show, which was in the wake of his aggressive questioning of Israeli officials like that guy Regev, his humanization of the Palestinian people, and also happened after Semaphore broke that after October 7th, MSNBC sidelined its 3 Muslim hosts, and Mehdi was one of them. So there should be, and especially when we read articles in The Intercept about how, like, CNN's Middle East coverage, which includes Gaza, has to go through its Jerusalem office, which also has a relationship with the IDF censors there. And you see kind of the way cable news already has problems in its coverage of wartime. The fact that happened, then his show got canceled, and then Mehdi decides it's best for him not to stay on as just a contributor, but to leave to pursue other opportunities. It should raise alarm bells as to their coverage generally.
I mean, it's classic Chomsky model of propaganda and who gets to deliver news on cable.
And I just want to say, though, we praise other MSNBC hosts for fighting through that and using their cachet despite what you're seeing. Like Joy Reid, who's one of their nightly hosts, has been covering Palestinians in a humanizing way. So she should get credit because there's clearly some sort of chilling effect. We don't know to what degree, but within MSNBC about covering Israel's massacre in Gaza accurately.
Hey, folks, we all agree that media has a bias, but when political motives are pushed at the expense of everything else, well, then you're really obscuring the truth. Just look at the story on Kim Jong-un, urging women to have more children. On the left, most headlines are straightforward. The couple note Kim's tears or his chilling demand. Meanwhile, on the right, nearly every headline mentions Kim Jong-un crying. See, this level of insight is possible thanks to our sponsor, Ground News. It's a website and an app that's on a mission to give readers an easy and data-driven way to read the news. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political bias, the factuality, and the ownership of the sources. It's backed by ratings from 3 independent news monitoring organizations. This gives you an opportunity to become a better decipherer of the media. For instance, in the Kim Jong-un story, out of 92 reporting outlets, 19% lean left and 42% lean right. You can also see the ownership and the factuality information of the reporting outlets. Right now, Ground News is running a New Year's sale offering my audience 30% off their Vantage plan, making it only about $5 a month. This gives you unlimited access to all their features. Check it out. You're going to become a better consumer of the media. Go to ground.news/majority. The link is down below.